Hi there. Thank you for jumping onto this on-demand information session for the Certificate in Machine Learning at York University. My name is Sean Woodhead, and I'm the Program Manager for the Certificate in Machine Learning. Before we get into a breakdown of the agenda, I want to start with just a quick story. Back just over 1 year ago, I went to the 2017 Toronto Machine Learning Summit in downtown Toronto. This was before I'd begun leading development of this program, and I believe it hadn't even yet received approval by the vice president academic for us to begin development. But as we were at the point of having internal discussions about developing this program, I went to the summit with one main objective in mind. How could a prospective machine learning program at York serve employers like those represented at the summit? During the very first break on the first day, I walked from exhibitor booth to booth, and I asked the same question to each hiring manager that was there, whether they be from Scotiabank, from Zero Gravity Labs, from GM Canada, from Sharpest Minds, from wherever. I asked, what are the skills that you assume you will get when you hire someone into a machine learning engineer or junior data scientist role, but they seldom bring it to the workplace? Almost universally, they all said the incoming hire cannot assimilate in our business culture, and they have a hard time working through an actual business problem from end to end. So I left the summit knowing if we are going to deliver a meaningful program to students, the program must graduate students not just with technical machine learning and data science skills, but they need to graduate ready for business. They also need to leave this program with a portfolio of work. They need to develop something tangible. It is in that type of program that students will gain the most value. So fast forward to the Toronto Machine Learning Summit event from November 2018, 1 year later. Again, just like in 2017, I got to speak with different employers, but there was a big difference between 2017 and 2018. This time around, I was able to insert into these discussions that we developed a machine learning program and that the machine learning program was tailored to the needs of these exact businesses. But it was not just me who was there representing our program. This time, I was joined by 15 of our 24 students, and they made connections with many of those same companies. We also demonstrated our leadership capacity at the 2018 summit. We were not just a summit sponsor, but one of our students, Iman Lam, who got a job with RBC through an opportunity we shared with the class, also helped coordinate the Women in AI celebration event that was part of the summit. The program paid for students to attend the entire summit, and for our cohort that started in the winter of 2019, we're paying for them to attend the Collision Conference at the Enercare Center in May. For the fall 2019 cohort, we will be paying for them to also attend the Toronto Machine Learning Summit, which takes place in November. We endeavor to have our students as closely connected to the data science community as possible, which is why we try to support our students in attending these and other events. Regardless of if you want to take the program for skills upgrading or if you're also looking for data science work, these networking opportunities are very important for you as a student to partake in. Just to quickly share with you the flow of this information session, I would like to start with what we expect you to achieve by the end of the program. A description of what your portfolio will look like is a good way to describe what you can achieve in the program. From there, I will touch upon the importance of establishing your network, something that is relevant whether you enroll in the program or not. Especially if you are looking to move into a data scientist or machine learning engineer role, it cannot be overstated just how important it is for you to be visible and engaging with others in person and online. I will then finish the information session with an overview of the program and information on who to contact to ask questions and enroll. When we first developed this program, we made the assumption that everyone coming into the program was here to get experience to then get a job. But while the majority of students in the program are here with that intent, there were still a number of students who either were here to upgrade their skill within their current occupational role, or they want to take an idea and take it to market. By default, our students will be matched up with a business for the capstone course at the end of the program, but some students may elect to opt out, and that's perfectly fine. Students who are matched up with businesses are surveyed in advance so that we can try and as best as possible align students to projects based on their interest. For those who opt out, we are also able to provide support to incubate their idea. Aside from that one capstone project, students develop a portfolio of solutions by working on at least one real-world business problem in each of the other three courses. Our fall 2018 cohort is nearing the end of their time in the program. Students are working in small groups of 2 to 3 and directly with businesses and other organizations. I've put up on the screen here examples of those projects. In completing those projects, students are working with different groups such as multinational organizations, municipal government, police services, and different AI startups. These types of organizations and the problems our students work on will vary a bit from term to term. As I mentioned at the beginning, I cannot stress enough, it is crucial, especially for those who are enrolling in this program as a means to find employment in data science, that you need to be seen and you need to do work. While there are many options available that allow you to learn, you will not just be judged on whether you completed an educational program that is tied to machine learning and data science. You also need to demonstrate what you've accomplished, what work you've done. It is important to find opportunities to share these stories with others. And this is precisely why we believe so strongly that you need to connect with hiring managers and practitioners as often as possible. Just as it is important for students to be engaged with the data science community, it is just as important for the program to be engaged with that same community. In developing this program, we understood that it was essential that our graduates exit the program with a series of competencies that industry identifies as important for success in a machine learning related role. The very first step we took in developing our curriculum was we created those competencies in consultation with a number of different companies from the Toronto area. The program is also affiliated with some high-profile groups in Toronto. We've been a sponsor of the Toronto Machine Learning Summit throughout the last year, and we consider the summit to be an excellent community for students to engage with hiring managers and practitioners. On top of the one event that they hold annually, they also have a series of smaller evening events throughout the year. Students receive invites from me for these and other events, and we normally have students who will come out and join me. Some of the other groups we are connected with include AI Geeks Toronto and RBC Future Makers. What I have up on the screen now, which you may have already read on our website, are the program learning outcomes for the certificate machine learning. And what the program learning outcomes represent are a totality of what you'll demonstrate from end to end in the program. They're at a pretty high level, so it certainly gets more specific than this. I have the first 5 learning outcomes up on the screen here, and here are the last 4. An important development to note: you do not just receive one certificate for completing our program. One of our instructors, Dr. Karthik Kuber, is a certified deep learning instructor with NVIDIA. Karthik has incorporated some NVIDIA labs in his course being the third of 4. By completing the computer vision labs, students are able to also receive an NVIDIA certificate in fundamentals of deep learning for computer vision. We will continue to look for other opportunities to bring other certificates such as this into the program. While I would say it's more important what you accomplish with the tools you use, it's still important that you get acquainted with many of the tools and applications that you may encounter in the workplace. We are currently a polyglot program that uses R predominantly for statistical computation and Python for virtually everything else. Perhaps most important to mention is that some of the models you will be running can take some time. This is why we've ensured that students in our program can get free credits for use in Google Cloud Platform, where you can set up a virtual machine. But many students still select to just run their models locally, which is fine. In course 3, this is where you'll be starting to use very large data sets. And in course 3, we use Google Collaboratory, which is a free educational service provided by Google so that we do not eat into your GCP credits. For the upcoming fall cohort, the first series of classes take place on campus on Saturday, September 21st and Sunday, September 22nd. These classes are 6 hours each. But following that, the pace slows during 7 weeks of online asynchronous class. The instructor will coordinate with the class a couple short evening classes during those 7 weeks, mostly as a check-in for the entire class. During the online portion, students are still doing some light coursework plus working on projects and groups. Students then return for another 3-day weekend, followed by another 7 weeks of online delivery. This pattern continues until the program ends. We want our students to be successful when they graduate. This program will only continue to be successful if its graduates have great stories to tell about how we helped get them to where they want to be. For most students, this means giving them as many opportunities as possible to have face time with businesses. The most remarkable way we do this is by having students solve a real business problem for that business. You will graduate from the program with many other experiences, but this is perhaps the most important one. As I mentioned before, some of you may be considering the program for entrepreneurial reasons. And if that is the case, we also will support you through the application process for any eligible external or internal funding grants. We aggressively do outreach in the Toronto area to build program awareness and form connections with the businesses. It is important that they know who our graduate is and what skills and knowledge they leave with. But this is also important for other reasons. They can give us feedback on what they like and dislike about the program, and they can also end up becoming a project provider. A few of them will also want direct access to our students, as we have experienced with the fall 2018 cohort, whether for employment or for internship purposes. Specifically for mentorship, which can sometimes yield opportunities, we work directly with Sharpest Minds, an organization that specializes in data science mentorship by linking mentors and mentees together. Lastly, we look to sponsor our students to attend important industry events. For the fall 2019 cohort, I will be paying for you to attend all days of the Toronto Machine Learning Summit, and I believe that has a value of about $500. Up on the screen, I have each of the 4 instructors for the program. Hashmat Royin is an instructor in our other data science programs and is currently Senior Director and Managing Enterprise Architect at the Cooperators Group. Dr. Annie Lee is the instructor who will introduce students to the entire machine learning lifecycle. She is also currently the research scientist for natural language understanding at Strategy AI, and she has worked in data science and software development roles across multiple sectors. Dr. Karthik Kuber is the instructor who will have students go deep into a number of activities and also introduce students to deep learning. He is taught at Syracuse University and recently was a data scientist with Microsoft in Seattle before joining RBC, where he is now a senior data scientist. He also is a certified deep learning instructor with NVIDIA. Lastly, Dr. Faiza Hidari Kabaz is the instructor for the capstone and was selected for this partly because of her experience supervising co-op students at RBC while she was director data science and data and analytics. Dr. Kabaz is now head data science at RBC Capital Ventures. Up on the screen now, I have the admission requirements for the certificate in machine learning, and we recommend that students come in with at least a second year university level math in linear algebra, calculus, probability, and stats. Also, and this is important to note, we expect that students will come into the program having programming experience. Preferably, your programming experience would include Python. And if it doesn't, then that's fine. And we will be providing incoming students with a link to a short tutorial on Python if you lack that experience. If you're unsure about whether or not you satisfy the entry requirements for the program, if you haven't seen it already, we have a handy self-assessment tool that's right up on the Certificate in Machine Learning webpage, and you can complete that at any time. So as I've mentioned, students can enroll in fall 2019, the cost of the program up on the screen. And lastly, you're very likely going to have some questions about the program. So if as a result of this on-demand session, you have questions that you would like answered, I'd recommend that you reach out to Elspeth. Elspeth Staniland is the continuing studies advisor who's responsible for the certificate machine learning. You can contact her at continue@yorku.ca. Lastly, if you want to reach out to me for any reason, that's fine too. You can contact me directly at woodhead@yorku.ca, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And typically, I can get back to prospective students in 1 to 2 days max. So that concludes the on-demand information session for certificate machine learning at York University. I'm looking very forward to hosting many of you in the fall. And like I mentioned, if you have any questions at all, you're more than welcome to reach out to me directly, or you can reach out to Elspeth at continue@yorku.ca, and we'd be more than glad to answer any of your remaining questions. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.